guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 937. Alright, so may as well jump in and say what everyone else has said or is going to say about this episode. But for an episode as simplistic as this one, Toei went above and beyond the Call of Duty with both art and animation this week. Mostly, I think it did kind of suffer a little in the back half, but other than that, it was like, or at least in the Luffy parts, but definitely the Luffy parts, I can say this episode shined, and I can only assume the reason for this is they wanted to get the full effect of showing us Luffy's training with Prince Hyogoro, which on that front, we already see that Luffy has already managed to grasp the concept, just through that one explanation. But as I said previously, he needs to work on his concentration, and in general, Luffy's biggest issue seems to be he doesn't know how to go at something without his usual aggressiveness, because he seems to at least know. Because the thing is, with this episode, we at least see that he seems to at least know how to build up haki. It's just releasing it that's the big issue for him, which on that front, the whole process in itself requires a more calm and focused mind. Something Luffy, as we see in this episode, doesn't know how to maintain in it, or at least not in the heat of battle. Like whenever he's involved in a battle, he tends to let his more aggressive feelings and emotions out. But so it's hard for him to maintain a bit more of a calm and focused attitude in that circumstance. But it's the one thing he definitely needs to work on. And even before this arc started, I previously worried that they would use Luffy's training and his time in the prison as padding and nothing more. And while there have been moments like that, honestly, a lot of what they're doing with Shogoro and Luffy in these later episodes, in these episodes at least, are kind of outdoing the manga in a lot of respects. And I think Toei has I think one thing I can definitely appreciate about this arc more than anything else is that in terms of the anime is I think Toei has overall learned how to use a lot of the extra time they have and the moments that are normally used for padding a lot more effectively. I think is the best way. I think that's kind of the thing I can definitely take away from basically Whole Cake Island onward is that Toei I think has gotten better at using a lot of those extra moments and a lot of extra time better in order to tell the narrative of the story. So yeah, just good on Toei overall for that. And yeah, one of the big things that this episode did is show more of Tono Yasu and his effect and the effect he has on the townspeople of Ebisu, as well as just the people around him, as well as how he affects and just in general how he affects the people around him as well as building up. Just of course, on top of that, we also kind of get a little bit of a mystique like built up around him with his true identity through Shinobu and Kanjuro not knowing who he is. But the fact that he does know all of this, everything involved with the rebellion, the pretty much stuff with the location of the location of where everything's going down and whatnot, it definitely means he's a key individual from the past during that lived alongside them during the reign of Odin. And especially now with that reveal of Toko being Tono Yasu's daughter, it only serves to drive that point home even further. Like Tono Yasu is someone important, and if what can be believed from if what we can see is true from the preview of next week's episode, that point is only going to get driven home even more. Now, with all that being said, however, with all this, whenever One Piece focuses on a character this much, it creates that oh so ominous shadow of inevitable death. It's really just a matter of when. And again, just pretty much based again, just pretty much based off the idea, just pretty much based off what we see in the preview, yeah, that's pretty much going to happen. Like, I don't think I'm spoiling anything because I think the preview kind of does a good job of that already. But yeah, after everything that's been built up with Tono Yasu, just his character, he's pretty much got the mark of death on him. Like he's more than likely going to die. But knowing what we know about Tono Yasu, he's gonna go out like a boss. It's just that's going to happen. Like he's gonna do something to make his death memorable to the people of Wano. Um, Also, quick thing to mention this episode is that it supposedly reveals that Tono Yasu has been Ushimitsu Kozo, but let's just say, despite how well it fits into what we know about the character, it's actually another one of those red herring moments, and I'm already giving weight, and I'm probably already giving way too much weight just by saying that, but if you really want to figure out who the mystery is and who Ishimitsu Kozo actually is, just look to characters who haven't been introduced yet. That's all I'll say about it. Which, on that note, I guess if I have any sort of a problem with this episode is that well, don't get me wrong, we've gotten a lot of great like connective tissue in this episode, but a lot of it has been kind of in some way or another presented more as setup, more than actual progression in some ways. Like I guess both can exist in tandem with each other, but there's been a lot more setup in this episode than there has been progression in some way. Aside from like the Luffy and Yokoro and Tono Yasu stuff, that's I guess that's the biggest issue, that we didn't progress too far. We just set up a whole lot of shit. And with Tono Yasu interacting with the town of Ebisu before the but honestly, even despite that, and the focus of the episode being just focusing on just a couple of these elements, it didn't bother me either, especially in terms of the latter, because just seeing Tono Yasu interact with the villagers had such this calming and soothing atmosphere to it, as well as building up the relationship with the villagers and showing us just how much he cares about the people of Wano as a whole. It really just paints a picture of Tono Yasu as a character and shows how he really is in many respects the unsung hero of Wano. Like everything that Tono Yasu has done has allowed Wano to continue to thrive even despite these hard times. But as well, again, just going off what I said, it also does have this sort of somber, calm before the storm feel to these moments with him as well, which is good to have before shit starts hitting the fan. And believe me, when it comes, there's going to be no getting off that sea train, there's only so much, there's so much that has basically stoked that idea, including another reveal in this episode, which is that Hyogoro has added, with Hyogoro and Luffy kind of reuniting with Rizo, it's basically added a contingency to the plan of freeing the prisoners in the mine, and with Chopper's group converging there as well, it definitely puts Momonosuke in the spotlight for sure. So there's that. Now, obviously, we do need to talk about Rizo's return in the episode, and obviously him wanting to help free Luffy, because with that we also see the return of Caribou. Caribou. What can I say about this motherfucker except I'll be completely honest, I hate this motherfucker. Like, to me, here's the thing. To me, it really doesn't matter what side he's on or how useful he is in the moment or anything he does in the future. Everything that this guy encapsulates to me is just annoyance. Fucking annoyance bottled up into one single character. And you really have to understand my mentality with him. He could be the greatest underdog in this arc and have the absolute best moment that shows how useful he is to our heroes in the Resistance. I would still hate his guts. Like, I'm sorry. People talk about how much they don't like Foxy. This guy's worse to me. He's just a sniveling, pathetic little jackass. And honestly, to even reinforce that point, he just by I mean I get it in the sense of that Luffy needed energy, he needed food to build up muscle and energy and whatnot, but he just doomed us all by bringing out the red bean soup a little too early. Like, seriously, if he had just waited until Big Mom got there to bring out that shit, everything would have been fine. But no, he brought that stuff out way earlier than what was required. And yeah, again, I think just by bringing it out, it's obvious that Luffy and the others are going to eat all the red bean soup, and it's gonna fuck over. I mean, it's gonna fuck over, like, it's gonna cause even more of a hectic problem with Big Mom. Like, even if it works, even if it's something that works in their favor, it's still gonna cause problems. It really is. So yeah, I'm sorry. I really hate this guy. I do. I'm sorry, people who like this guy, but I hate him. But yeah, sorry, I had to get that rant out. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and that's your Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.